The Dazzling, Star Swirl the Bearded, and Lord Tyrrek coming from a different land? There's certainly a lot that can be said about the history of Equestria. Now let's just see if I can piece—
That's it. I want to speak to your supervisor.
You called?
What the fuck?
Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to TheLooneyTurtle. I can't believe I just dragged someone into a video.
Hold on. Blue ocean background, obnoxious turtle.
And an omnipresent voice that just introduced the channel. Comic, I would have expected you to piece that together faster. So, since you don't have a door, Looney, get on that, we're stuck doing a collab video. I was planning on talking about the history of Equestria, but seeing how you only review the comics, I might have to shift focus to something else.
Actually, the comics do provide some glimpse into the past. For example, the Fiendship is Magic series shows the villain's effects on history.
I guess that might be useful information, seeing how the show hasn't really presented a lot of new history in the recent seasons. But the comics aren't canon. Looney, we've been over this. Everything is canon, but there are different levels, and you can learn more about that here. But shameless promotion aside, we aren't here to dwell on canon. We're just here to piece together the information that's been given to us and come up with as complete a timeline as we can. Albeit, there might be some holes due to the comic's validity, but where's the fun in confirming each and every piece of information is canon?
Yeah, that would be about as much fun as counting every single blade of grass at Sweet Apple Acres. So, how are we gonna organize everything into a cohesive timeline?
With magic. So, here we go. In early Equestria, there was a butter dragon? What the heck is a butter dragon?
Well, it is something from the comics, so I guess I'll explain. In issue number 24 of the main series, Discord takes Fluttershy and the CMC through time. One of the places they stop in is some point where ponies were not the dominant creature. Along with dinosaurs, there's the majesty of the butter dragon. A butterfly the size of a dragon. His name is Herbert.
If I give you a sandwich, could you get Chris to fart on it?
What?
Nothing. So, a little while after the dinos, probably a long while after, there was that,
It says Anugypt. Ignoring the terrible pun, another peek into Equestria's past shown in issue number 24 is the legendary lost civilization of Anugypt, an Egyptian-like era ruled over by Anubis, who probably had a similar disposition to Nightmare Moon. It isn't really known how exactly it got lost, but Bast and her band of 6 cats probably used the elements of harmony or something.
Seeing how they're a lost civilization, I would assume that they don't have such commodities.
After that, though never really shown, it is more implied in both the Sombra Fiendship and the Siege of the Crystal Empire, issues 34 through 38, the Crystal Empire is founded and Princess Amore defeats the Umbrum.
Hey, comic, what is it? Umbrums?
They are ponies of pure shadow, and because shadows equals evil, they are evil. They were defeated and sealed away by the Crystal Heart. Somehow. Yeah, it's not really well explained.
The next pony settlement is the Heartswarming Tribes. 3 races, 3 tribes, and a lot of disagreements between them. As I said in my previous Equestrian Timeline video, what we see in Heartswarming Eve is a romanticized reenactment of historical events. With that, we can't hold this as the exact way that things played out, but we can at least try to use it to get a basic idea of what happened. The Wendigos drove the ponies away from their original settlements, then followed them to Equestria where they all realized the true meaning of friendship.
And that's how Equestria was made.
No, only Pinky gets to say that. But after that, the Journal of the Two Sisters gives us some insight into Equestria's humble beginnings, yet at the same time makes no effort to explain where Celestia and Luna came from. They could have come from an alicorn race.
They could have been born from regular ponies.
Or they could have grown from eggs. But at the moment, their origin is a bit of a mystery. What we do know is that Celestia and Luna were entrusted to be the leaders of Equestria because alicorns maintain attributes from each and every race of Equestria. I would honestly prefer to believe that Earth ponies are at least the vanilla version of unicorns and Pegasi, but I guess the show has to be all-inclusive, so that's why they're in charge.
So they start construction on the castle of the 2 royal pony sisters in the Everfree Forest, serendipitously near the Tree of Harmony, since they kind of found it after choosing the location, and its presence gives the location the Star Swirl seal of approval. They also begin to define Equestria's borders. During this time, the sisters help the Crystal Empire when a dragon steals the Crystal Heart. Also, Star Swirl creates a time travel spell. Not just the one used in It's About Time, but one that freely sends the user through time. At first, with an age-altering side effect, but supposedly he made a perfect one. The princesses also discover their talent for raising and lowering the sun and moon, so those lazy unicorns don't have to do it anymore.
Do you blame them? It takes 5 ponies, plus Star Swirl, and after so long, they lose their magic. Seems like a bit of a load off for them. Deus Ex Machinas for the win. But in regards to the borders, I'd like to talk about the Griffins for a moment. In The Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, it was established that
the first Griffin King, King Grover, united our kind like we've never been united before or since.
meaning that he's the first king. But in the Journal of the Two Sisters, when Celestia and Luna have to deal with the Griffins, their leader is Gregor, who isn't described as royalty. This could mean that he was the leader before King Grover found the Idol of Boreas, or alternatively, after King Grudo lost it to that creature.
Now the events in the beginning of the Sombra Fiendship happens. The Umbrum manage to trick the spell that imprisons them by locking a single cult's Umbrish powers away. He is then found by a royal guard out in the Arctic North and brought back to the Crystal Empire. The only word the cult knows is Sombra, thus becoming his name. He befriends another outcast named Radiant Hope. Saving the majority of the comic's plot for my actual review, Sombra grows up into a cutie-markless adult. Meanwhile, in Canterlot, the events depicted in the flashback in the Reflections arc occurs. Star Swirl makes the first magic mirror, this one somehow being able to connect to multiple universes and not only opening on the lunar cycle. Most notably, it connects to a universe where Celestia and Luna are evil. Though, through repeated visits to that universe, Star Swirl and Celestia accidentally entangle that universe with Equestria Prime. Also, Luna's mood begins to darken, but that's not an important detail. Back in the Crystal Empire, Sombra becomes evil, seals Amore in stone and shatters her, though technically she's not dead, and thus Radiant Hope informs the princesses.
And then this animation happens.